It's Sunday night, 10 p.m., and it's time for Top 10 Most Anticipated Comics of the Week. Hey comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0, and fans, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to bring you Spider Slayer's Top 10 Most Anticipated Comics of the Week, and this is for 11/28/18. That's right, guys. If this is the first time you're tuning into this show, well, welcome. This premieres every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is the show where, obviously, I talk about my top 10 most anticipated comics of the week. So we'll do a little bit more stalling. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more people on the premiere here. So I just want to give a shout out once again to LeagueOfComicGeeks.com. If you guys haven't checked out that site, go ahead, check it out. Or you can download the app. This is a great app or site to where you can create your own pull list, and based off of the amount of pulls determines the most popular comic of the week. And it literally has all the variant covers and all of those things out there. And also, if you guys want to check out something else, which people seem to like, is comicbookrealm.com. If you guys haven't checked that one out, this is a place where you can find all of the comic books in there, and if you want to get a somewhat of a price of graded comics, you can go on there. They have the errors, they got the variants. If you want to find a fair book, a very fair book, a mint book, it will give you a guide of the comics value. Of course, that's not true, right? Unless, you know, you sell the comic for what it's worth. But at least it gives you a guide of the comic itself. So, there you have it. Go check it out, comicbookrealm.com. So without stalling anymore, let's get started with this week's countdown. And we're going to start off with the book that's on the fence this week, guys. And so my book that's on the fence is Return of Wolverine. This is issue 3. And I must say that the last issue of this book was very craptacular. I was not a fan of it whatsoever. It spent the entire issue of Wolverine driving on this speedboat, fights some random characters. One you think is Dawkins, another one's Omega Red. He kisses the girl out of nowhere. It's like, what's going on? And Marvel, is this the best you can do for the Return of Wolverine? It just seemed very lackluster. And even though right now it is on my pull list, I don't know if I can go through and pull the trigger with buying this issue 3. The only thing that it has me slightly intrigued is that it says Wolverine versus the X-Men here. So, I don't know. Maybe I buy it just for that, and it's this action-packed bloodbath type of issue. But we'll see what happens. Alright, so let's move on to the top 10 now. So my number 10 most anticipated comic of the week goes to Action Comics. This is issue 1005. Now, when it comes to Action Comics and Superman, I get these books confused all the time. So I think the Superman book was the one where we just dealt with Zod being in there, and then Action Comics deals with the one with the whole Red Cloud situation, okay? So in this particular issue, we're going to finally learn the outcome of who the Red Cloud actually is, and if Superman can actually come to the solve the mysteries of the underground of Metropolis. I'm not a huge fan of this direction of this title. I do like the story of Superman and Lois on how they they're still married, but they're kind of doing their own thing. If that's going on in this story, which I find is quite interesting. But I'm not a huge fan of the whole Red Cloud situation. So, you know, that's why it's kind of lower on my list. But I'm always interested to see what Bendis has to bring to the table when it comes to Action Comics. All right. So, again, number 10, but it's been slowly dropping here and there. Now, based off of DC solicits, we're going to see the return of Superboy. And he looks a little older, a little meaner, so we're going to see what happens there, okay? All right, so we're going to move on to my number 9. And number 9, most anticipated comic this week, goes to Dead Man Logan, issue 1. Now, this is another book that has to deal with Logan or Wolverine. And if you're not Wolverined out by now, then you're probably going to pick up this title as well. Once again, Marvel wants to charge $4.99 for its issue 1. So that's what they're charging here. Obviously, it's probably going to be more pages. But I guess this is the story of Old Man Logan possibly dying. And we wind up seeing that he is sick. And we've seen this in Extermination and some of the other books as well, where he's just not healing. And it looks like he is dying from adamantium poisoning. Obviously, the skeleton inside has taken his toll on his body, and he's not healing, and now he's going to be searching for a cure. Whether he can find that cure or not, whether he gets completely killed off or not, that's still yet to be determined. So the book has my interest. I think it has the same writer as either Old Man Hawkeye or Old Man Logan, one of the two from the original series. So I'm interested to see where this story actually goes. So that's my number 9 this week. So coming in at number 8. Number 8 goes to Ghost Spider. This is issue 2, obviously Gwen Stacy. This has to do with a Spider-Gwen tie-in. Okay, price point for this book is $3.99. I think what this book might lack a little bit of is trying to balance Ghost Spider's main story and the Spider-Gwen tie-in. What kind of balance are they going to have here? I think for new readers of this series, I felt that it did not do well with a good jumping on point. It just attracted the old readers, but I didn't think it attracted the new readers too well. Okay, it just tied into Spider-Gwen, assuming that you read Spider-Gwen, okay? And the Spider-Gwen tie-in is actually very loose. She loses her watch, and now she's stuck in this world, and somehow she's got to get back. But she doesn't really deal with these inheritors. The intriguing thing about the end of the last issue was that she came face-to-face with Peter, who obviously in her world is absolutely dead, and she comes face-to-face with him, and Peter sees her, and he starts crying. So what's going to happen between these two, I don't know. But again, this could, be that balance that we're looking for with this book when it comes to Spider-Gwen, okay? So, and the cover, I'm not too interested in this cover either with another Goblin character. We saw a Goblin character in the last issue. Do I want to see another Goblin character here? Can we come up with a different villain? So let's see where Spider-Gwen goes. I haven't been too keen on the regular series. I think she's an interesting character. But every time I try to get into the book, I can never seem to get into the character and its stories that surround her. So we'll see where it goes. All right. So next, we're coming in at number 7. And number 7 goes to Uncanny XMen, issue 3. Now, with Uncanny XMen, I read the first issue. If you guys haven't checked out the review, you can check out that review on it in case you couldn't buy it. It was a $7.99 first issue. Comes out weekly for the next 2 months at $3.99 a piece. So it makes it a very expensive book to read. So what happens in the first issue is we wind up seeing that there's this vaccination, okay, and it rids all of children of the X gene in case they have it. And then what happens is when they go through puberty, they won't become a mutant, okay? And all hell breaks loose at the end of the last issue. We wind up seeing multiple men go AWOL. We see multiple X-Men go missing. And so it made for an interesting issue. Makes you want to continue the story. Again, you guys will be the decision if you can afford this book weekly for the next 2 months. You might want to hold off on trade and then check out the trade and then see if you want to pick it up monthly from that point forward. So there you have it when it comes to X-Men and issue number 3. All right, so moving on to, excuse me, my number 6 most anticipated book. This goes to Batgirl. This is issue, I think we're on 29 with this one. Yeah, so Batgirl has been really well done. I think the character is written well. I think the artwork has been done beautifully in the book. I love her new costume. And I love the challenges that she faces with her implant that's been going haywire. She's not going back to Oracle, but she's really gotten beat up in these past few issues. And it makes it adds layers to her character. But when it comes to the villain by the name of Grotesque, I feel that he's not a very interesting character. I don't like him all that much. And it kind of brings down the book a little bit. But again, I'm reading it for Barbara, and I want to see the growth of her character from this story arc going forward. There's a couple of different covers for this one. Obviously, you can get the main cover, but the Middleton variants that have been going out for Batgirl have been absolutely gorgeous. You can't find them anywhere. The last one was outstanding, with Barbara being on the computer doing some investigation work. So these covers are very hot. So if you're looking to collect it just for a cover alone, good luck in trying to find it. They're hard to get. All right, so let's move on to number 5, shall we? And number 5 goes to Fantastic Four, issue 4. Now, this makes for an interesting issue. I see this issue kind of being like Dan Slott's Superior Spider-Man, because in this book, he's coming up with the Fantastic Four knockoff, right? And he calls them the Fantastics. And so this is a bunch of characters that are pretending to be like the Fantastic Four, and but we don't know anything about them. We don't know their powers. Are they superior? Right? I just feel like that this is Dan Slott's version of Superior Spider-Man, but for the Fantastic Four. So this makes my top 5, but I'm still a little worried about where Dan Slott's going to go with this and how much he wants to push the Fantastics and how much of a rivalry are they going to be towards the Fantastic Four. So this is quite interesting, all right? All right, so moving on to number 4, and number 4 goes to Spider-Girls issue 2. Book is also $3.99. I enjoyed the first issue of this. I thought the setup was a little weak because, you know, to get things going, we had to have our Spider-Girls and Spider-Man and everybody else meet up by beating up a Vulture gang. Dumb. But now that the story is moving forward a little bit, and Annie Mae Parker, she seems to be like this chosen one to actually be, I don't know, to stop the Inheritors. So it looks like her character is going to get some growth here going forward. And then we get to see her work with Mayday Parker, and we get to see her work with Anya. So I'm still very much intrigued to see where this tie-in story goes with Spider-Geddon. And I'm really enjoying the Spider-Geddon tie-ins. They actually make the event better than the actual event. They add growth to the event. And that's what Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man did. And I really love that last issue. So hopefully with Spider-Girls, it continues to add to the Spider-Geddon event, and it makes it a better product. All right, so coming in now towards my top 3 most anticipated comics of the week. And so my number 3 this week goes to Heroes in Crisis. This is issue 3, coming in at $3.99. Pretty cool looking cover for this book, as you get to see a hand holding a mask, and we get to see Batman's reflection in here. We get to see that possibly Booster Gold is going to do battle against Superman in this issue, which makes for a very interesting battle, because Booster continues to be a prime suspect in all these murders that have happened in this, sanctuary. That's what they call it. And we're trying to find out what happens in the sanctuary. Why did it get hacked into? you know, and things of that nature. Now, this book seems to be a little bit of a controversial book. Some people either really like it or some people really hate it. Some people don't want to see this softer side to the superheroes. They don't want to see these confessions just taking up panel time. They want to see action. They want to see, you know, they want to see bad guys. They want to see that. They don't want to see this slow-paced, drawn-out type of event. And we got two sides to the coin in this. I like it. I like seeing the softer side. I liked seeing the heroes actually break down, and seeing Batman break down and just lose it is actually very humanized. You know, we got to look at our heroes at times where if we send them to war, you know, they come back and they come back broken. Our superheroes are human. Some of them are, at least, or some of them deal with human emotions. They can't go through shit themselves. So I don't find it a bad thing here that we get this in Heroes in Crisis and what this sanctuary was meant for our heroes. So I like this series. I'm looking forward to it. It's in my top 3. And now we're going to move on to number 2. So coming in at number 2 goes to Old Man Hawkeye, issue 2. This book is quite interesting. I love it. It's been going on all year, and we get to see Clint try to avenge his hero's death. Natasha's, his Avengers, and he's been going through this journey the entire time. And we're one issue away. This is the penultimate issue. It ends on issue 12. He finally is going to meet up with Zemo. Zemo is the one that has caused all this pain and suffering for Clint. He's been losing his vision this entire time, and I can't wait because I have a feeling between this and Bullseye, Clint, Red Skull, it's just going to make a very climactic ending to this series. It's a very good series, guys. If you have not read it throughout the year, I think when it comes out in trade, purchase it in trade. Gorgeous artwork here. Phenomenal, phenomenal read. Alright, so last but not least, my number 1 most anticipated comic of the week, and I actually forgot to put this book in last week's episode. I totally missed it. It's The Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue 10. Okay? Really gorgeous cover on here. I like the first one by Humberto Ramos, but the second one, we have a variant here, which is really cool as well, where you have Black Cat on this big diamond, and she's holding Spider-Man's hood. And I think it's great. She's got this big smile. Really nice looking cover. I'm going to try to get that one. Hopefully I can. But nevertheless, this series, I feel that Nick Spencer has doing a great job with. He knows how to get this cast of characters back, right? He's got working relationships with Boomerang. He's got relationship with Mary Jane now. Peter Parker's got a new relationship building with Felicia once again. And I just think he's just bringing back all the supporting cast that we love with Spider-Man. And in the last issue, we got to see the team up with Felicia. And this issue, it continues. We get new villains by this Thieves Guild gang. And we get a new main boss as well. And then we get this subplot going on with Mary Jane, which I think is very interesting. She met up with Carly Cooper in the last issue, and we get to see her give her this sheet called the Lookups. And now Mary Jane went looking into this whole thing, and the Lookups is a group where you go, that significant others go to kind of just spill out their emotions about how they feel about their significant others, about them dealing with the bad guys and then possibly losing their significant others and things of that nature. And so I thought that was a very interesting plot for her. And she's kind of very reserved about kind of letting those emotions out there. You know, she doesn't want to break that wall. So will she do it going forward? I don't know. And then what's going to happen with this? I have a feeling it's going to be something like a Heroes in Crisis, where this place is going to get broken into and all these secrets are going to be spilled out. So I'm very anxious to see what's going to happen with Amazing Spider-Man going forward. I love the series right now. Whether Ryan Ottley is doing the artwork or not, the writing is great. And Herberto Ramos as a backup artist to Ryan Ottley, if Ryan Ottley's coming back, is just as good for me. I like it. So that was my number 1 book. What is your number 1 book? What is your top 3? What is your top 5? Or what are your top 10 most anticipated books? I want to hear them in the comments below. Guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. As always, if you like it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a single video from me. And hopefully I'll see you again next Sunday on another top 10 most anticipated video. And check out all my other videos as well. And guys, until that next comic book review, this is Mike Spider signing off. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye.